The following program may contain strong language, possible nudity, adult content, or sensitive content, and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
We've seen big plans come and go without being followed through on, while the daily commute becomes unbearable. What actions do you feel would offer immediate relief if they were implemented tomorrow?
Well, I'm just going to steal from David Signacki. He had a great idea of if you make the trains free from 7 to 8 a.m., people will take that, and you get less people in the rush hour. Because here's the thing: is transit's like beer. Okay, you go into a bar, you buy yourself. You drink one beer, you order a beer, okay? You have a couple friends, you get a pitcher, okay? You got a lot of friends, you get your own keg, you run your own beer, you run your own bar, okay? So, but if let's say you're by yourself, you don't get a whole pitcher, you don't get a whole keg, because you're gonna waste a bunch of beer. But that's fine if you're paying for that. But transit is paid for by our tax dollars, okay? So if you're giving like huge kegs of beer to like 10 people in Scarborough because you're gonna build a subway for them, that's ineffective. So people need to be educated on this, because what happens is the politicians take over the transit decisions and they're using it to buy votes. People are like, yeah, I want a subway to my house too, the downtown people have got that, I want the one too. You know what? You live in a pitcher neighborhood, not a keg neighborhood. It's all about beer.
Who is one of the forerunners in the mayoral candidacy race. And how does it feel to be one of the top people that are running?
You know, it's interesting you mention that, because I am top in several things. I'm the number 4 candidate on Facebook likes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And through a poll in the Toronto Sun, I'm the sexiest candidate for mayor.
Yeah, I would say that. I would definitely agree with that. Yeah. And I just, you know what, I wanted to wish you a belated happy birthday.
Oh, yes,
it
was my birthday earlier this week.
So do you think this is going to be the year of the clown or what?
I think so. Because we had 4 years of pseudo-clown. Now it's time for 4 years of real clown.
That sounds really good. Now, I want to ask you something. How do you feel like with what's going on with public transportation? I know we're going to get a little serious, and I know you like to have a good time, but honestly, what do you think about the public transportation situation, and how do you think that they can improve that? I know people have talked about building subways. They've talked about buses, but what do you really think that we could do to improve that?
You got to be realistic with transit, and I like to think of it like beer.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're by yourself, maybe you got a pint of beer, right? You got a group of friends, you got a pitcher. You got like a couple hundred people, you need a keg. Okay. So downtown Toronto, like the Yonge line, the Bloor line, that's it. You need kegs for that, right? You need a couple kegs to handle that many people.
Yeah.
All right. But let's say Scarborough, the Shepherd line, whatever. That's a couple pitchers. Okay. That's pitchers. So, hey, I like beer. I'd like to have like 2-3 kegs in my house, but they're going to go bad, and that's a waste. And if it's my dollars, not a problem. But when it's the tax dollars, okay, you don't be wasting beer.
Well,
okay.
We definitely like our beer.
I know. I like my beer. I don't like to waste beer. So if you're building a subway out to Scarborough, I like Scarborough. Scarborough's great. I like to drink some pitchers out there, but I don't think we should have kegs to Scarborough. Don't take us keg to Scarborough.
So now, just for the fun of it, well, not really the fun of it, but how do you think that we could raise the money to do that? Do you believe in maybe a poll tax, like people coming in and out of the city that, to kind of half offset the cost for this? Or?
I believe increase our property taxes. We have lower property taxes in all the areas around us. And the thing is, I'm not averse to paying more taxes because we have great services. Most people don't know what the city does.
That's right.
So if you look into the city does hundreds of different things. They have tons of agencies and services and there's just so much stuff that they do. And if all you think they do is like TTC and garbage collection and police and whatever, then you don't know the tip of the iceberg what the city does. So I'm totally for the city taking more money because they do a really good job of it. There's no gravy train here. It's money well spent.
Unless it's gravy for the duck, of course.
If we have the steamed duck with gravy, yeah, I'm totally into that. Yeah.
Well, this is Toronto. We're multicultural. I'm sure it'll be a crispy duck.
Oh yeah, crispy duck. You're making my mouth water there, Joe. You're making my mouth water.
Now, so how do you feel about the arts? Obviously, being an artist yourself, though, do you think that there should be more money allocated towards the arts, and that we should be opening up more doors for more creation of theaters or theater schools, anything like that?
Well, the city is limited what they can do that. You can provide some funding for artists, but here's what I'm a big fan of governing like Sin City. Okay? So I'd like to set up a special zoning type, because right now we have there's commercial, there's residential. There's actually one called commercial residential employment. Okay, and this is for small business to set up, and you can live and work in your small business. We need the same thing for artists, because a lot of artists need a place to do their art. So whether it's a studio for painting, drawing, photography, or a place for dance and theater and comedy, so a lot of them, they have to have an apartment and they have to have a studio space. That's really expensive. So a lot of them just live in their studio or do studio stuff in their apartment. So if we had a special zoning for that, this would really help artists. So they'd be protected under the Landlord Tenants Act of Ontario, and they would have great spaces, and we would then we put this in neighborhoods where not so used in their economic potential, and we fill that full of artists, and all of a sudden they make it a really cool happening space, and next thing you know, there's condos appearing there.
Yeah, well, I know that there's a project that's going down on the lake shore, and it's going to be similar to that, but I've also read that part of the project is that some of it's going to be development for condos as well. So again, maybe I guess that would be a great thing, is to have one great big space that would just be dedicated for artists, and they'd be able to work and live.
Yeah, work, live for artists really helps the artists. That's something you can really do without saying, hey, let's just give money to artists who aren't going to make any money. No, so artists who actually have a following and can actually do something, you got to support those people. That's what you got to support.
Well, it sounds amazing to me. Now, what I wanted to ask you is, being the fourth person that's in the running, how do you feel that the other candidates look at you as a serious candidate for a mayorship? Like, have you spoken to any of them yourself personally? Or?
When I've spoken to, realize I'm not actually serious. I am a clown, and they kind of get that. Humor's my thing, and and that's what I got to say about that.